Today we're going to read Fluffy Meets the Tooth Fairy. Fluffy's Loose Tooth. I have a loose tooth, Fluffy, said Wade. He wiggled his tooth. Yikes, thought Fluffy. It will fall out, said Wade, and I will put it under my pillow when I am asleep. The tooth fairy will come and take my tooth, and she will leave me a present. She will, thought Fluffy. Fluffy liked presents. He wondered if he had a loose tooth. He tried to wiggle his right front tooth. It was not loose. He tried to wiggle his left front tooth. It was not loose, or was it? Maybe it was a little loose. Jared came over to Fluffy's cage with Mr. Lee's class pet, Kiss. Wade wiggled his tooth for Jared. Cool, said Jared. He put Kiss down in Fluffy's cage. My cousin lost her tooth, Jared said, and the tooth fairy left her a comic book. I have a loose tooth, Fluffy told Kiss. You do not, said Kiss. Yes, I do, said Fluffy. It will fall out and I will put it under my pillow. The tooth fairy will take my tooth and leave me a present. Kiss rolled her eyes. You do not have a pillow, she said. Wade was doing tricks with his loose tooth. He closed his mouth and made his loose tooth stick out between his lips. Gross, said Jared. And, Kiss said, guinea pig teeth do not fall out. We gnaw on things to wear down our teeth. With his tongue, Wade pulled his tooth all the way back. Yuck, said Jared. I can see the insides of your tooth. If we did not gnaw, our teeth would grow so long we could not eat, said Kiss. Yuck, thought Fluffy. Wade, Jared cried suddenly, your tooth is gone. The boys looked on the table and on the floor. You must have swallowed it, said Jared. Do you think the tooth fairy will bring me a present? Wade asked. Jared shook his head. No tooth, no present. The lost tooth. It was Wade's turn to take Fluffy home for the weekend. Jared helped Wade carry Fluffy's cage out to the car. Wade's sister, Zoe, sat in front. Wade and Fluffy sat in the back. Mom, I lost my tooth, Wade said. But I swallowed it. Will the tooth fairy still leave me a present? Write the tooth fairy a note, said Mom, and put it under your pillow. The tooth fairy understands about lost teeth. Zoe turned around in her seat. No tooth, no present, she whispered. Tooth or no tooth, Fluffy hoped the tooth fairy would leave Wade a present. That night, Wade wrote a note and he read it to Fluffy. Dear Tooth Fairy, my tooth came out today, but I must have swallowed it, so I could not leave it under my pillow. Can you please leave me a present anyway? Your friend, Wade. Wade got into his bed and put the note under his pillow. Good night, Fluffy, said Wade. Fluffy turned around in his hay. He thought about Wade's tooth, and he hoped Jared and Zoe were wrong about no tooth, no present. Fluffy made himself a fine hole in the hay and lay down. Ouch! Something stuck him. Fluffy jumped and he dug in the hay. At last he saw what had stuck him. Well, 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 thought Fluffy. I found the lost tooth. Fluffy meets the tooth fairy. Fluffy squealed and whistled, but he could not wake Wade up. It's up to me to get this tooth under his pillow, thought Fluffy. Fluffy turned his food bowl upside down. He put his cardboard box on top of it. He put his tunnel on top of that. Fluffy picked up Wade's tooth and climbed up, up, up. At the tip top, Fluffy rocked and wobbled. Stay cool, pig, thought Fluffy. Fluffy squeezed his eyes shut, and down he went. Pop! He landed on Wade's desk. He put the tooth in his mouth and climbed down. At last, Fluffy's feet touched the floor. All right, he thought. This pig is on his way. Fluffy was running toward Wade's bed when he heard a noise. Is it the tooth fairy, he wondered? No, it was a cat. Fluffy hit the ground. He grabbed the corner of Wade's rug and rolled. When he stopped, the cat looked in at Fluffy, and Fluffy looked out at the cat, and they looked at each other for a long time. At last, Zoe called, Brutus, snack time. Brutus zoomed off. Fluffy rolled the other way. He rolled himself out of the rug and ran to Wade's bed as fast as he could. Fluffy grabbed a corner of Wade's sheet and climbed up, and very carefully he slipped the tooth under Wade's pillow. Yes, thought Fluffy, the pig did it. Fluffy was tired. He needed some rest before he started back to his cage. He burrowed under the blanket, put his head on the pillow, and closed his eyes. The next thing he knew, the Tooth Fairy showed up. Wow, she looks just like Kiss in a tutu, thought Fluffy. Move it, buddy, she growled. I can't lift this pillow with you on it. Fluffy jumped up. The Tooth Fairy lifted the pillow and grabbed Wade's tooth. Got it, she cried. She added it to her necklace made of teeth. I'm out of here, the Tooth Fairy said. Hold it, said Fluffy. What about Wade's present? The Tooth Fairy rolled her eyes. Oh, all right, she said, and she pushed 2 coins under the pillow. I put the tooth there. How about a present for me, said Fluffy. It wasn't your tooth, she said. No tooth, no present. Fluffy rolled off the pillow and woke up. Was that a bad dream, he wondered? Just then, Fluffy saw something twinkling above Wade's pillow. It looked like a blue and yellow sparks. This is a good dream, thought Fluffy, and he closed his eyes again. Fluffy, Wade called. Fluffy's eyes popped open. He was back in his cage. How had he gotten there? He had no idea. The Tooth Fairy came, said Wade. No kidding, Fluffy thought. She left me 2 quarters, said Wade. And look, she left a present for you. For me, thought Fluffy. Wade put a piece of green pepper into Fluffy's cage. Fluffy bit into the pepper, and it was sweet and crunchy. Thought Fluffy as he chewed. No tooth, yes present.